Did you have a good weekend? I hope you had such a good weekend. I really, really do. I know that, for me, it's middle of winter, Minnesota. Huh. But we're doing good. We're doing good. Today, the sun is shining. So we are happy, happy, happy with the sun shining. Jump on in, you guys. Good to see you. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning. Did you have a good weekend? I did major purchase this weekend. Just kind of joking. Major purchase, very important. I live in Minnesota. I bought a humidifier. Can you see my humidifier? I'm like, woohoo! Major purchase. It was really funny. Good morning, Terry. I'm like, we have got to deal with this. Like, oh my gosh, it's so freaking dry. And we were overcoming like over the New Year's. And so I'm like, oh God, this cough is just so annoying. Anybody else? Annoying. And so so Saturday night after church, we my son who was with us at church, he's like, so what are you guys going to go do? I said, well, we live a very exciting life. We're going to go to Menards and we're going to buy a humidifier. I said, I know you want to come with. I know that, our life is very exciting to you. So as a joke, but whatever, he actually came with, he actually showed up. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're hysterical. But anyway, got to do what you got to do. So anyway, you froze your first cabbage and you made cabbage rolls. You loved the process. Oh my stars. That is fantastic, Melissa. So you guys, I saw this TikTok or video where you freeze an entire cabbage roll and then you just literally peel because it, without boiling it, it's basically making it all limp and whatever, pliable. And so then you can like make your own little cabbage rolls. Oh my gosh, I'm so impressed that you did that. I mean, that's like the hack. And I had brought this up before where you take all of your frozen tomato or all of your tomatoes, like you're harvesting your tomatoes, and you just shove them all in the freezer and you let them freeze. And then the next day you take them out and you set them on the counter. And as they're thawing, you literally just peel. You don't blanch them anymore. You literally just peel off the peels. And my daughter did that this year. It was fantastic. And then she jarred a bunch and we made spaghetti sauce from her tomatoes, organic from her garden. Like it was amazing. So anyway, that's awesome. What did you put in there, Melissa? I would love, so much easier. I'd love to know, what did you put in there? Because so when, we always call those pigs in a blanket, maybe. I mean, those could be pancakes and sausages, but, cabbage rolls, pigs in a blanket, where you're putting like that whole rice hamburger mixture. Well, of course, no grain, right? We're doing no grain, no sugar, no legumes, right? But boy, you could be super creative with that. Ooh, that makes me think. I'd love to know what you put in those. Anyway, okay, so today, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. If you're on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe. I know that we have this little teeny tiny conversation going on over on the Tickety Talk about some sort of a ban, Supreme Court, blah, blah, blah. So if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. As I've just been putting some turkey meat and rouse and mushrooms. That's fantastic. Way to go, Melissa. Woohoo. God, that's so smart. And so I've just been putting stuff up on YouTube just to do it, and I guess I'm glad that I have been, because now it looks like it's very possible that TikTok will go away. And that is kind of sad because it has been such a good platform. But anyway, so I'm on other platforms as well, as you can see. Anyway, so today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about leaky gut. And this is just a conversation that I have with a lot of people. I feel like we don't even know, especially with, so one of my teammates, she's a hairstylist. And so she talks a lot about the connection between gut and the fact that your hair is shedding. Your gut and the fact that your hair is thinning. Your gut and this is a conversation, right? Because if you can't get the nutrients from the foods that you're eating or from the supplements that you're taking, we need to back up the bus a half a second. We need to back up, because leaky gut is messing with your entire system. Okay. And this is why then when we, when we start to supplement, let's say, a really good example would be, I have a friend whose dad who this is probably about 8 years now, when he started to take, like, if you ever go to my site, kirstenliebelt.com, if you ever go to my site, and you scroll all the way down or all the way up, it's just one page, you'll see multivitamin, multimineral, phytonutrient. Okay. So it's 3 pieces in one little container. And he started doing that twice a day because that's what you're supposed to do. And he literally for the first time, he was not doing it for this reason. Good morning, Magda. Good to see you. But his A1C came into balance, and he's like, what's happening? Like, it was 15 years. He couldn't get his sugars to come into balance. And then he went on to lose over 50 pounds. And you have to understand, this is because he was filling in nutritional deficiencies that he had, that he didn't even understand that he had, or he knew about. Well, now fast forward to today, 2025, oh my stars, we have like this prevalence of leaky gut in our society. It's really bad. But I want you to understand that it's coming from oftentimes insulin resistance. So how frustrating is that? Like, you may not have even known that you were insulin resistant. Now you're insulin resistant and you have leaky gut. You didn't even know. Well, how is this so detrimentally impacting your life? Let's get into it, because I feel like this is going to be very, very beneficial for a lot of people. If you can understand, like, you need to shore up, you need to stop like some of the holes, so to speak, of what's going on in your life, man, you can change. Just think about that. He didn't even know that he had nutritional deficiencies. He gets his A1C in check and loses over 50 pounds. Can we start talking about the cellular level of what we're trying to accomplish? That's kind of what we talk about every day. But I'm just saying, like, if you can talk about from the inside out, getting your engine to function on a different level than the Band-Aids, which could be scripts, the Band-Aids, which could be over the counter, the Band-Aids, which could be like, I don't even know, like so many different things. Maybe we don't need as many Band-Aids in our box because we're actually working at life from a cellular perspective. That's everything. When I talk about the trio, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, when I'm talking about any kind of food that you're eating or supplement that you're taking, cellular level, cellular. Let's get down under and let's like raise that up. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. Jump on in from the balcony if you're on TikTok. It's so good to see you guys. It is so, so good to see you guys. And I know that might not be forever. We'll find out, won't we? Anyway, so if this is where the connection comes into insulin resistance, okay? So first of all, sometimes you're just feeling really bloated, you're feeling lack of energy, and that's what this could be the connection to. So listen up, here we go. So what is leaky gut? Imagine your gut lining like a security fence with tight gates. When it's healthy, it keeps harmful toxins and bacteria out while letting nutrients in. But when that fence gets holes in it, toxins leak into your bloodstream, causing inflammation and chaos. And this is where the conversation usually starts with people. I'm so inflamed. I have so much inflammation, blah, 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 right? That's usually where the conversation kind of starts. Do you ever eat something that's really healthy, but you end up really bloated, foggy, your head, you're exhausted? That's your body sounding the alarm because food particles and toxins are escaping into your system. Okay, so that's kind of what leaky gut can look like. Now, how does insulin resistance come into play? Claudette, good morning. Good to see you. Sunshine, your Florida life, you. I said to my husband last night, I'm like, get me out of here. We have got to plan a little getaway. Like, seriously, I'm on last night going VRBO, going Destin, Florida. Oh, nope, it's not south. That's not south enough because you guys are all getting cold weather down there too. So anyway, little insight into my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, Minnesota, love you. In the summer, our summers are just phenomenal. They're just gorgeous. So that's what we live here for. Anyway, So how does insulin resistance cause leaky gut? If your blood sugar is constantly spiking, boom, 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 that means that insulin is working overtime to counteract, right? Insulin is the hormone released by your pancreas. So if you don't know anything about insulin resistance, listen up. Here's a quick little overview. So your pancreas releases insulin, which is a hormone, and that insulin is like delivery trucks. Okay, so it's like a fleet of trucks. And it's going to go pick up its load. And the load is glucose. And it's going to shuttle the glucose into all of the storage units. And the storage units are your cells. So can you see how we're having a cellular conversation? That's what we do every day here. So the delivery truck goes and picks up the load of glucose and brings it into your cell, your storage units. But when your storage units like slapped locks on every single door, boom, 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 and threw away the key, and the insulin key doesn't work anymore. And it's like, what's going on? What's going on? Why can't I get the load of glucose into the cell so that you can have energy? Okay. It's not working anymore. The key is not working anymore. And you're like, what's happening? Your body is like, I don't understand. So the first thing that your body does is it says, well, I'm obviously, good morning. Oh, Melissa, you're so sweet. Thank you, Melissa. She's sending me fun roses. Thank you, Melissa. You're amazing. When your body says, I must not be making enough glucose or insulin. I need more insulin to offset the glucose because your diet is really messed up. Like you're thinking cereal is a good idea. You're thinking bagels are a great idea. Jimmy John's, Subway, Starbucks, sugar drinks, jumbo, whatever. What is that? Jamba Juice. I mean, right? This is our diet. We think it's, oh, I'm going to eat low fat. So therefore I'm going to have grains all over the place, right? We're going to follow the food pyramid. Bad idea. So now you're creating more and more insulin, more and more insulin, more and more insulin. And you're having high inflammation, but you are also now not getting any energy into your cell. So you are tired, but also insulin is a fat storing hormone. So now you're storing fat. This is where we as women get super frustrated. We're like, excuse me, I literally just had somebody text me this morning. And if you're on, hi, welcome. It's so nice to meet you. It's so nice to get your message. And she was saying, I've always been 128 pounds eating pasta, not gaining anything. Okay, now everybody track with me, because if you think that the only person that's insulin resistant is overweight, it's not true. So all her life, she's in the 120s, eating pasta. Now she's had surgery. She's 220, diabetic, and unmet. What happened? Do you think that happened overnight? Do you think she went to bed on Saturday and woke up on Sunday and she was type 2 and on scripts? Could they have helped her before? I think we know the answer. But they weren't pulling a fasting insulin, were they? Because she was thin. Oh, well, I shouldn't even say that. That's me projecting. That's not true. They don't pull a fasting insulin on most anybody. I mean, it's just not as common as it should be. They wait until it shows up in your sugars. Okay, are you tracking? So you could be insulin resistant for years and decades and you don't even know it. So behind the scenes, like behind the curtain, your body, thank you. Behind the curtain, here you are, insulin resistant, and it's creating leaky gut. And you're leaching your toxins, you're leaching your nutrients into your bloodstream. So now you're exhausted, your system is broken. That's my best noise. Sorry, I'll have to think of something better than that, but it's broken, right? And you don't even know it. Because it's all, can you hear it? You can't hear it. It's because it's silent. It's like, shh. It's library status. Shh. You don't even know you're insulin resistant. You don't even know you have a leaky gut. Shh. And nobody's telling you nothing. They're not pulling a fasting insulin. Nobody's even talking about leaky gut. Like my friend's dad gets his A1C to come and check just by taking a multivitamin, multimineral phytonutrient. It's one product. Just by doing that, nobody was telling him that. Nobody was talking to him about having nutritional deficiencies. Why would they talk to him about that? The conversation in Western medicine is pharma. PHARMA, only ever, unless you go to a functional doctor, which you can, or you go to a naturopath. I worked with a naturopath. She was wonderful. She was so knowledgeable of all of these things. She set me on a course that was really wise, and it changed a lot of the things that I've been doing in my own life because of it. But most of us will never do that, because you will never pay out-of-pocket cash to go to a naturopath. And most people cannot afford the supplementation on the shelf in a naturopathic clinic because it's high. It's high. So I'm between the GNC kid that doesn't know anything and the naturopath. Okay. My parent company used to own the line in the clinic at the same time. I'm just telling you, because the different line could mean nutraceuticals, which is just a different thought process. I digress. So this is why insulin resistance then is living inside, it's existing, and it's creating leaky gut. You don't even know it. So the key connection, if your blood sugar is constantly spiking, like we were just talking about, and your insulin is working overtime, your inflammation to the moon. Boom. Off goes the inflammation like markers in your body. That inflammation weakens your gut lining, making those holes even bigger. Even bigger. All right. So think of that 3 p.m. energy crash in the middle of the day. You had lunch. Now it's 3 p.m. You're crashing. The one that has you reaching for coffee or a snack. Okay. That's not just fatigue. It's not just fatigue. It's a sign of gut inflammation and blood sugar roller coasters. Okay? That's what that is. If you've ever felt puffy, had unexplained joint pain, or struggled with cravings, your gut could be leaking inflammatory compounds into your bloodstream. Okay, so is everybody on the leaky gut train? Are you understanding? Are you kind of like, Kristen, good morning. Aw, thank you, Kristen. Deb, thank you so much for the follow. I so appreciate you. And as we get closer to January 19th, if you like the information, there's my other connections, because, tickety talk. Here we go. All right. Now, symptoms that might show up in your very daily life. Okay. Number 1, digestive issues. Okay. So now come on. We all know, we talk about this all the time. I have a friend who said, it used to not be so cool to talk about pooping all the time. And now we just talk about it super freely. And I'm like, well, that is true, but praise God, because seriously, you guys, it's like symptom number 1. Like, it's such a big deal. Bloating, constipation, diarrhea. Okay. This could be how it shows up in your daily life, having a leaky gut. Number 2, brain fog and fatigue. Feeling like you're running on empty. Is that you? Do you feel like you're running on empty? Number 3, mood swings and anxiety. Your gut makes 90% of your serotonin. 90%. It's a lot. It's a lot. And don't we get tired of feeling blue? There's a term that I don't even know where it came from, but my husband brought it into our marriage. I'll have to ask him where it came from. And the term is spoo. When you feel spoo, I have no idea where that came from, but mood swings, anxiety. Did you even ever stop to think that you could be having anxiety kind of rumbling underneath your surface, and it could be connected to your gut. Because think about it, if you're just not getting basic ingredients, you have nutritional deficiencies going on in your system, basic things. Why do you think we're so deficient in magnesium? What a simple fix. When I talk about the trio, when I talk about these 3 for you guys to help with insulin sensitivity, this is, oopsie, this is where I started with these 3. How about some trace minerals for your life? I'm just telling you, simple answers that get big results. Simple to implement, big results over time as you begin your healing process, your healing journey. So mood swings and anxiety, skin issues, eczema, acne, even aging faster than you should. Okay. Eczema, acne. I used to have eczema. I mean, honestly, when I look back at how insulin resistant I was, I had no clue. You guys. I was in college. So I'll be 60 this month. So I was in college. Hold on. I'm going to take my top off here. And I would get eczema. And my mother always had eczema. So I grew up thinking that eczema was normal. I grew up thinking that eczema was probably inherited. Excuse me. No, that's not what's inherited. It's just like type 2. It's not genetic. The way you eat is genetic. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a predisposition, but I'm saying that for the most part, what's genetic is your culture and the way that you're eating. So my mom always had eczema, and she always had prednisone cream in our life. Excuse me. Get that on there. Always had prednisone cream to wipe on, rub on her skin, etc. I'm in my 20s, and I end up going to the doctor because I have eczema right here on my eyelids. And of course, they don't say, like, I'm sorry. They're not going to talk to me about my gut. This is 1980, whatever, 4. I don't know. They don't care. They're not thinking gut. They're thinking prednisone. They're thinking steroids. So, okay, then I finally get that under control and it goes away. I then get married and have a baby, and I'm gestational diabetic. So I could have looked at this as kind of symptom number 2, but I'm not tracking. I have no idea. Gestational diabetic with my first baby. I'm testing my blood 4 times a day, just like trash in my fingers. It was terrible. And he's 9 pounds, 13 ounces. Isn't that lovely? It was not lovely. I swore I would never have any more children, but I did. Anyway, anyhoodle. So I do that. And then I end up, then my dad dies when I'm 30. And then in my 30s, I am just living my best life, so to speak. I'm not paying any attention to how I'm eating. I'm not doing anything proactive at all about sugars, insulin resistance, etc. Even though my dad had died, he was 63. I end up with eczema like all over my arm. And I'm trying to think, it was probably other areas of my body, but I just don't remember. And I was working at a clinic, and the doctor gives me a steroidal cream, and it takes it away, etc. And I was exacerbating it terribly by all of the products that I was using. I had no idea. Like we weren't really educated, right? As to the fact that the obesogens, remember we've talked about those, where the products that you're using that are so toxic that you're putting the lotions on your body, and the laundry detergents that you're using, and the fabric softeners. And I mean, I was the queen I wasn't the queen. My girlfriend was the queen. But we were like, I always said I'm such an overuser. I mean, like, how much TIDE could I put into a load, and how much, of the DOWNEY. I mean, if it did not reek as I was, putting them out on the clothesline, was I even doing a good enough job? I mean, that was the thought process. Well, it ended up creating just issues all over my body from using all of these really terrible, awful chemicals that I will never do again. And so my point being that here I am then getting eczema again, and all of these things are kind of following me, and I'm paying no attention at all. So the skin issues of eczema, acne, and then even aging faster than you should, gut. You have to take care of your gut in order to shore up what's going on the inside so that you're not leaching nutrients and all of those toxins. Remember, it talked about a security fence. Your gut lining is like a security fence that's really like tight and taut. But when you have leaky gut, it starts to get holes in your fence. And now all of your nutrition and your toxins are leaching into your bloodstream, creating massive amounts of inflammation and nutritional deficiencies. Hello, Julie. Good to see you. Good to see you. If we are healthy, nobody makes money. I know. It's so sad, Linda. I used to think I was just a skeptical person. Now I just know I'm right. I mean, we all are right. We all know now. We're not confused anymore. And actually, to be really honest, I feel like TikTok was a big piece of this puzzle for a lot of people. And so it's kind of, the whole, idea that it's going away. It has probably been the number one platform where people were able to get information, because we were always questioning, especially since 2020. I mean, I'm sorry, but every single one of us, you're probably not on my content if you were not questioning a lot of stuff in 2020. Wondering why we're being so censored over talking about vitamin D and vitamin C and going out in the sun, and like they gave us the dumbest, the worst, the most insane information regularly in the news. Like, this is ridiculous, because you have to understand, I'm coming from a perspective of my body was fearfully and wonderfully made. God made my body to actually deal with stuff. When I raised my children and my children had the chicken pox, my girlfriend came over with suckers, literally handed them to my children, and then handed them to her children and said, all right, see you later. And we all had the chicken pox together. That's the world that I grew up in. Most of you are probably similar. And that's why we can all hang out here every day at 11 a.m. Because we're all like, we knew, right? So again, if we can actually shore up that fence, tighten it back up again, just think about the results that you can get, not just with nutrition and feeling better, but what about weight loss? Do you think your body, your metabolic function will help you with better weight loss? Yes, the answer is yes. So weight gain and cravings, constant hunger after eating. You eat and it's not fulfilling. It's not satiating. It's not keeping you in that lane of feeling full, and you're always hungry. So these are symptoms that could show up in your daily life. Digestive problems like bloating, constipation, and diarrhea. This is if you have leaky gut. Brain fog and fatigue, feeling like you're running on empty all the time. Mood swings and anxiety. Your gut makes 90% of your serotonin. Skin issues like eczema, acne, and even aging faster than you should. And weight gain and cravings. Constant hunger even after eating. So fixing leaky gut and insulin resistance together. Let's do it together. Okay? I just can't think of a better protocol for anybody than to begin to turn back, going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, and then shoring up your gut. Like, how much faster can we go, right? I know that nobody wants to hear that this is not an overnight fix. This is not something that just happens. I say that all the time when you're trying to lose weight, etc. It's like, gone are the days, girlfriend. The days are gone when you can drop 10 pounds for the dance. Like, that's not where we are anymore. So we just recognize where we are. And we're also not the 30-year-olds who are like still maybe on the elliptical and doing a bunch of stuff and whatever. Like, no, we're not. We have to take advice for us. Okay. So perimenopause, menopause, this is a hormonal conversation. Insulin is a hormone. Cortisol is a hormone. This is all about hormones. It's not about calorie in, calorie out. Okay. But when you can finally do this, guess what? Oh my gosh, weight gain does, or weight loss does come. Inflammation does decrease. Sugars and insulin do come down. Okay. There are answers. So the first conversation that I always have with somebody is I talk about the trio. You already know that. If you're already a customer, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is a cellular conversation. It's not a Band-Aid patch of any kind. This is getting your engine to function from the inside out. How long will it take? I can't answer that for you specifically, but I can give you I have a Google sheet filled with testimonies. So you take the time to go to kirstenliebelt.com, click on the trio testimonials, and begin to read for yourself, because you need to see yourself in this conversation. Okay. And then you'll see 3 buttons that have a yellow star. I've put that up there. And one of them is going to be the trio. One will be the trio plus the gut reset protocol. One will be the trio plus the gut reset protocol plus the fat burner. Okay. We got that taken care of. But the trio, this is literally filling in trace minerals and then using herbs to get your body functioning from the inside out at a different level, helping your liver to up its detoxification, helping your metabolism to begin thermogenically moving in the right direction, and then helping the insulin that you're not getting tested for. Sorry. You can ask for it though, and please do. Like, the more people that'll ask for it, right? Getting a fasting insulin, that'll help you. And getting sugars to come down. And then finally, you can lose weight. Because if your insulin is high, nope. Elusive weight loss. Elusive. Why can't I lose weight? Well, I don't know. Is your insulin high? When's the last time you got tested for it, right? Because that's not normal. Number 2, if your liver is tired, sorry, can't metabolize fat. So let's see, high incident of fatty liver in our country, high incident of visceral belly fat. Belly fat is the most common. High incident of visceral fat underneath the fat that we can squeeze. It's not about pinching an inch, Special K. That was a lie too, but okay. I'm just saying, like, there are certain biological things that have to happen that you can help. You can help from the inside out. Okay. And then I talk about the gut reset protocol. And the reason why is because this is how you can recalibrate everything we just talked about. If you've never used a gut primer before, and most of you will have never, ever used a gut primer, I can tell you, because it's not common on the marketplace. This is kind of in its own league, in its own category. It has 6 different blends in it. Pre and postbiotics and digestive enzymes, alkaline spices and fermented greens, fiber from extracts of fruits and vegetables off of organic farms. Like, you probably have not used one of these, but I will tell you that when you begin to shore up what's going on in your gut, this literally is helpful for oral health, because your gut starts in your oral cavity, in your mouth, helps with liver health, metabolism, constipation, indigestion. I've had people say, I'm getting the best sleep I've ever had because they're moving the toxins through their body. Whoosh, keep them going. Keep those toxins moving. This is that whole lymphatic conversation that we had last week, okay? Where you've got to keep the toxins flowing, because if you have a stagnant swamp going on in your body, how much productivity do you think is actually happening? And I said it in my stories. I'm going to go get myself a dry brush. I saw a reel. Somebody said, if underneath your armpit, you have a puff instead of a pit, you need to be moving your lymph system. And I'm like, that is such a great thing to talk about, because we need this all moving. And then make sure that you're adding in a probiotic, because the probiotic you've got to replace. You've got to get the good bacteria back into your body again. We actually, as a society in the United States, we have killed off, I watched the documentary on the airplane last fall. I think we've killed off since 1970s or something like that. It could have been 60s. Half of our organisms, half of the species in our gut, we've literally killed them off. So if you take feces from like Tanzania or South America or the United States, you will see that they have this much in species in their gut, and we have like this much. Like it was something like Tanzania, South America, the United States. So we just don't have what it takes to do what we're trying to accomplish. It has to do with our diet. It has to do with overabundance of scripts. It has to do with an overabundance of antibiotics. It has to do, I mean, just think about it. We throw our kids on antibiotics because they have ear infections and all sorts of stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, and so we have a lot of issues, and then our diet is trash. Like seed oils everywhere, blah, 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 refined, yada, yada, GMO, hybrid wheat. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff going on over here, right? So trio, and then the gut reset protocol is the primer with the probiotic. And then the last piece, and I'm going back on mine within a few days here, is this is the thermogenic. This is the orange pixie stick. And this is the targeting of the belly and waist fat and your hips. And I will measure myself this time. I didn't last time. Just dropped it. Go 90 days on and then take some time off so that your body doesn't get used to the thermogenic qualities. Love the testimonies that are coming in, people like losing inches. Love those. And I should have done that too, because I was really surprised. I was being super skeptical. Look at me. I just, we spend our entire life being told that there are no magic pills, that there are no magic potions and whatever. And for the most part, that's kind of true, right? Like Metabolife was not the magic pill in my 30s that I could buy at Walmart. And in fact, ended up to be, banned because of ephedra being a bad ingredient. So we get skeptical over time, and I don't blame you. I understand it too. But anyway, so removing gut wreckers from your body is a really important piece of the puzzle. And I know not everybody's going to do it all at once, and I get it. I really do. But we can substantially, and I mean make such a huge impact by removing just simple pieces that we have been like just indulging in too much in general. Sugar, grains, processed foods, seed oils. Like this is not as hard as you think it is. And yet I am so empathetic towards you. If you are sitting there thinking to yourself, easy for you to say, this is not easy to do. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. That's where I was. I entered my 50s train wreck, like hot mess express, woohoo, coming into my 50s. That's how I entered my 50s. And that's when I made the decision to change out my ingredients. I thought I would never, ever, ever, ever be able to do it. I'm Italian, emotional connections to food, raised with the thought process that, you know what, you have to eat to show respect to the person who made the food. Then when you gain weight, you're told to lose weight. And then when you lose weight, you're told not to get too skinny. So it's a total mind game around food. It's ridiculous, and I get it. But that's just how I was raised. So I thought it was nearly impossible. But what I have come to understand, and that's why like last week, there's a group, by the way, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. That is the Facebook group. And every month we do a 5-day reset. We just finished our January one. And I taught a recipe in there. But I love going through my pantry and my fridge for you guys because I realized that I didn't have to stop being a foodie. I mean, honestly, when I come online and I'm like, yeah, I teach grain, sugar, and legume free, people are probably like, click, scroll, shut up. That's never going to happen for me. Like ridiculous. Nah, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm telling you, I'm still a foodie. I'm still a foodie. The recipe that we made last week in the group was a spaghetti squash breakfast casserole. I'm super excited that I made double last week because we're still eating it. So good. I mean, come on, feta cheese, Parmesan. Are you kidding me? It is so good. But you don't know what you don't know. You've been indoctrinated, just like I was, to believe the marketing of all of these bags, boxes, and barcodes, as Dr. Ben Bickman says. Bags, boxes, and barcodes just lying to you over and over and over again, telling you that that actually is real food and that it tastes good. When you get used to real food, game on. You can make anything out of my pantry. You can make anything out of my thought process that you love, and it's actually going to taste better. You just don't know it. Joanne, good morning. Sliding in late. Wow, can I relate to the mind games? I know. Nice to see you, by the way. You're totally fine. Don't you worry about being late. Whitney, thank you so much for following. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. So I just want you to know, like, you can still be a total foodie and turn around your insulin resistance and lose weight and bring down your sugars and bring down your high blood pressure and get off of scripts and what else? Finally sleep and have energy and not be constipated and get rid of your indigestion. And like, I just can't even tell you, your life can be completely different. So now here I am, I'm exiting my 50s. So I entered Hot Mess Express, woo-hoo, and I'm exiting this month, my 50s. And I'm in a completely different place. And I get to like be on the floor with my grandbabies and I sleep like a champ. I mean, I sleep really well. Praise God, because that's the one thing you need to fix this year. Fix your sleep. And I'm telling you, because I know now how to get my engine, I just do. I follow. My engine runs. And because of that, the results are so amazing in how I function. And I don't have to live anymore with well, I must just be getting older. You know, your metabolism just slows down. Well, yes, it does. But you can also turn it back around. You can also start to thermogenically burn your fat. It's 2025, people. I'm telling you, for real. It's true. It's true. So you need to support your gut barrier. Wow, you can shore up what's going on. You can shore it up. Lower your inflammation. Eat healthy fats. Use collagen. Use bone broth. I always add a collagen packet into my gut primer every morning with my frother. I add a collagen packet. Come on, we know we need peptides. I don't think we're confused about that. Hair, skin health, joints, but also good for your gut. Just telling you. Balance your blood sugar. Prioritize protein. Protein. And then protein. And if you are constantly filling up on real food protein, like eggs, chicken sausage, steak, have some full fat Greek yogurt or, cottage cheese or whatever, things that full fat. Don't be going for low fat skim. It's too high in sugar. But when you prioritize protein and then you add in some good healthy fats with that, I am telling you, you're going to feel full and satiated. You won't even have room for just because you've got to tamp the carbs way down. You're insulin resistant. Come on, you got to turn back. And if somebody's telling you that you can have 150 grams of carbs a day, they're giving you the worst information of your life. Like, that's really bad. 30 or less, 20 or less, real, not net, real. And carbs are in everything, onions and mushrooms. And so it's easy to get, easy to do. I get it. But I'm telling you, you can really make a huge, huge difference in that by balancing out your blood sugar and reduce your stress. Chronic stress keeps your gut inflamed. Such an issue. Again, just had a conversation this morning with somebody whose cortisol is just off the charts, right? And for some people, 2024 was very stressful, right? I'd say that the beginning of 2025 has been like, what the heck, right? We've had a lot going on. And so just recognize and then take care. I'll give you a couple of supplement helpers for you here with that. And then if you're ready to reset your gut and reverse your insulin resistance, let me know. Let me know. Let me help you. Don't sabotage yourself anymore. Don't do that. Take the time to read the testimonies. Take the time to reach out and ask a question. Take the time to say, hey, listen, I was on your live and you were talking about can I look at the cart? Can I look at the trio? I want to see all of it. I want to see the trio, the gut reset protocol, and the fat burner. Will you just show them to me? Yeah. Can we chat? Like, this has been my situation. I mean, y'all tell me a lot of really good pieces so that I can help you. Okay. So if you know your inflammation is really high, yep, insulin resistance for sure. But I also do have, FYI, a phenomenal turmeric. Phenomenal. You're just not going to find it anywhere else. You're not going to find it on the shelves. You're not going to find it in a store. You have to go through a business owner like myself, but it's 45 times more absorbable into your system. That means that taking 400 milligrams of my turmeric is like taking 6,000 milligrams of something else. If you have high stress and you need help with that, I have an ashwagandha. And both of these are certified organic. I have an ashwagandha. Ashwagandha helps with sleep, stress, mood. Sleep, stress, mood. It's an adaptogenic herb. Adaptogenic herbs help your body adapt to stress. Okay. I take 2 ashwagandha at night. I take 2 turmeric at night. That's a part of my routine. I take a vitamin C. Oh, and magnesium. And my magnesium is launching in March. Get on the magnesium bandwagon. If you go to my site, kirstenliebelt.com, do one scroll, just one page. It's super easy. Go one scroll, and at the very bottom, you'll see get on the VIP list for magnesium. Be the first to know. It's just your name and your email, and I'll get you on my VIP list. It'll go on my list. Launching in March. It's sourced. It's a marine sourced magnesium blend. We had a magnesium, and the expert that was in December, he said, we had a good magnesium. He said, but it wasn't great. So they pulled it, they reformulated it, and he goes, this is a great magnesium blend. So I know from my conversations with everybody, if there's one thing that you can do in your life, it's to start to take a good magnesium. Don't take trashy magnesium. There's no need for it. Magnesium is not like, buying gold or anything like that, but you do want a good one. And this one is sourced. It's a marine source, which is where it's supposed to be coming from. And it's a blend. I'm very excited. Happening in March. If I had to guess, and it's just a guess, maybe like a March 6th, something like that, launch date. It'll be something like that. Cauliflower is low in carbs, ? They only give net carbs. Yeah. It is, Julie. Let me see here. That's weird that they only give you net carbs. Full carbs. And the answer is, so 1 cup raw, 5 grams of total carbohydrates. So then they probably say 3 grams of net. But don't mess with net, you guys. Yeah. Maria Emmerich just is, full carbs. And I feel like we push that envelope, and then we are just frustrated all the time. All this net carb BS. It's just marketing, you guys. It's just marketing. It's just marketing. It's really frustrating. So cauliflower rice, well, golly, that's a really good question. I mean, let me ask that question, but, think about that. So does it not say on the package? Maybe it doesn't. It must not. But that's a good question, right? Because cauliflower rice is going to be way more concentrated, obviously. They're saying the same thing. 5 grams a cup. That's super interesting. If measuring cauliflower rice, Okay. Yeah. It's kind of saying the same thing. That's an interesting question, though, isn't it? I'll have to look on a package to see what my package says. Terry says cauliflower rice is 4 grams per half a cup cooked. There you go. Net carbs is all they give. That's so weird. That is so weird. But everything, like people are like, it's just because we don't know. We've been so poorly educated. And how can that possibly be? I mean, I spent a lot of time in that land in my brain of how can it possibly be that here we are, we live in America and we are so poorly fed. We're so poorly educated. Saw somebody, just people still believe that it's okay to have, like your plate should be filled with macaroni and cheese, corn. This is an actual video that I was watching. Macaroni and cheese, corn, country fried steak dredged in flour, mashed potatoes, and a flour-based gravy. That is literally the recipe for diabetes. But it's very common. And I remember, if I go back into my brain, right, into my memories, when they came out with frozen meals, frozen dinners, Libby's, remember Libby on the table. You will like it. How does it know? Libby's on the label. You will like it on the table. I remember the Libby's thing. Anyway, they came out with the frozen dessert or frozen dinners, and you would lift up the thing and then you could turn it into like there was a scene on there and you could play like whatever, spark your imagination while you're eating total trash food on a TV tray in front of the TV. I mean, honestly, what were we thinking, right? Okay. Anyway, so I remember all of that, right? And it was always like the one little thing was mashed potatoes, one little thing was corn, one little thing was the fruit in the gelled sugar, and then the chicken that was breaded. So the whole thing. So now fast forward all of these years later, 50 years later, and we're still thinking this is normal, even though we are more obese than we've ever been. We're sicker than we've ever been. We're more medicated than we've ever been. And now here we are sitting around online talking about how can we return this curse? How can we return the curse, reverse the curse of the choices that we made as a society in how we've been eating? But there's a segment of society that doesn't even know that they should be reversing that. They don't even know. It's so ingrained in our Sunday dinner. It's so ingrained that corn is a vegetable. BS. Corn is not a vegetable. Corn is syrup. And it's what we use to fatten cows with. It's not a vegetable. Okay? So I'm just like, we are so confused. And it takes time, and I get it. But man, we've been indoctrinated really heavily. Fruit crisp, yes. But it tasted so good. And I would beg my mom, please, can we have TV dinners? Please. Lisa gets a TV dinner across, or Janine or whoever, they get TV dinners across the road. They get SpaghettiOs in a can. My mother's like, I will not buy SpaghettiOs. I will not. We're Italian. She's like, no. So I would sneak over to my girlfriend's house so that I could have SpaghettiOs out of the can with white bread and margarine. And again, even though I know that margarine is like death it's just the worst thing ever you could eat. Any of those plant-based things, like it's really bad for you. But I forget that's not everybody knows that. And the things that are donated to our food shelves and the things that are donated, like we have to get back to learning how to make real food with real ingredients so we can shift things again. And in this moment of like turning back our insulin resistance and becoming healed so that we can actually have metabolic flexibility again, takes a half a minute, takes time. But I am way more metabolically flexible now than I was when I entered my 50s. Way. I just want you to know that. Like, it does shift. You can become metabolically flexible, and it makes all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. Debbie, thank you for following. You're amazing. Kristen is sending me heart puffs and bubble gum. Oh my gosh, Kristen. I love bubble gum so much. I'm such a gum person. Yeah, I really do love. I used to eat a lot of Bubblicious or Bubble Yum, pure sugar. Does anybody remember Bubble Yum? Like, you have to chew it for 20 minutes before you can even blow a bubble because there's so much sugar. Lots of connections going on here. So if you need anything today, you guys, anything at all, please make sure that you reach out to me. If you need a cart for the trio plus the gut reset protocol, or all of it, the trio gut reset protocol and the fat burner, let me know so that I can get that to you. It'll come with a short little video and lots of testimonies, because you don't have to take my word for it, but you can make 2025 the year that you turn everything back and life gets increasingly better and better and better, not tanking. You don't have to tank. By the end of this year, maybe you work your way off of meds. I had people working their way off of meds last summer. It was so much fun. So much fun to get those testimonies, because things can happen quickly when you start to make changes. When you actually start to get your engine running from the inside out, things can happen. Like, so just allow yourself the journey. Let's do some permission, for ourselves. Bubble Yum, so sugary. I know, but it was my favorite. It was my all-time favorite. So anyway, all right. You guys have like the most blessed day ever. And then we'll be back here again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll talk about insulin resistance again. And if you're on TikTok, please go ahead and follow. And there are my socials, because life is a little unstable over on TikTok, if you didn't know that. And we'll see what happens. But have a super blessed day, you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. See you later. See if I can get my mouse to work. All right. Have a great day, you guys.